All right, and we're recording, so that's good. Get my mic all situated. Oops. Almost can't see my mic, I guess, with the black shirt on, huh?
You can, because you're white.
That's true. Shows up in the whiteness.
But only when you get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can tell it's there.
Yep.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Courtney?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Love the hoop behind you.
Yeah, right? It's not bad, huh?
Sick. Yeah.
Clips showing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What up?
Like one of my quick answers.
Exactly. Like, hey, don't answer that one incorrectly.
Oh no.
No, you're fine. You can rock your honesty. That's what makes your vibe dope. How are you?
I'm good. Let's put it this way. I like sports. I love sports.
Well, then I guess you came to the right place. We'll
I've
have a
been
good time.
Lakers fan.
I know. You know what? Everybody is. You grew from here. You grew up here. The Lakers were winning all the time when you were younger. I get it. Kobe. I get it.
I loved yellow and purple when I was a kid. Let's be honest. Like yellow is pretty sick. Gold and purple, pretty rad. I mean, my room's purple right now.
That's a good point.
It's a pretty hot colorway. You're right.
I know.
When I saw you painting it purple, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I actually really believe she's a Laker fan. And as much as I wanted you to be a Clipper fan, it's quite okay.
You know what, though? The Clippers really showed up while the Lakers were kind of in a tank, and they play really well. They do play really well. And they did make me a jersey, which is really thoughtful.
That's what I'm saying.
You got a Clips jersey?
Yeah.
I'm at the game. I show up at a game, and I see that the WSL's in the building, right? And all of a sudden, I see Courtney out, and I think maybe the middle of the court.
Throwing shirts.
No. Throwing shirts like into the second tier. Like her arm is sick.
Just showing off the arm strength. I love it.
I mean, she could have been a pitcher, Major League Baseball. You know?
That would have been fun. I don't know.
That's awesome.
What you been doing today, Court?
Huh?
What you been doing today?
Oh my gosh. What haven't I been doing today?
Wedding. What time did your day start?
So busy. I actually had a sleep-in today till 7.
Oh, wow. 7.
Yeah, it was insanely late for me.
Oh my God. What's your usual get up and get moving schedule?
Well, around this time, I'm in Australia, so I'm up at 3:45 or 4:30 in the morning every single day to prep for my event. So I'm getting sleep-ins right now when I should be in a jersey working hard. Well, I'm still working hard. It's just a different version. I've been doing a lot of DIYs with my home and just doing projects I've been wanting to do for 6 years in my place and making it homey. It's always been homey, but really creating it into my place, and finishing little things that I've noticed over the years and just didn't have time for, so I kind of just put a blind eye to it. So
I totally did the same thing. For the past month, all the little projects around the house that needed to get done have been done. And now I'm like, all right, what do I do now? I don't know. I'm going to just start moving stuff around a second time just to have something to do again.
Yeah. Fun. And then I've been doing a lot of learning e-commerce and all that kind of stuff for my little business I'm doing. And
nice.
I'm creating with Sea Tiger. And then, other than that, I did a WSL kind of weekly interview today, which was pretty cool.
That's cool.
yeah, I had some laughs, and it's always a good time. I was showing them all my hats upstairs, and it was pretty fun. So.
Yeah, I hear you
Yeah.
got quite the. I hear you got quite the hat collection. Jeff was talking
Oh
about.
yeah, yeah. I
Her hat
literally,
game is still-
I made, yeah, my hat game's strong. I had one of my DIY projects was this really cool drying rack for fruit that they use in like Orange County or just, you know, off the 5 freeway that I got at an antique market for like $25. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get 2 of these and I'm going to make my own hat rack where it kind of looks like a piece of art. So it has all these hooks in it and it has my hats just along it really nice. I have 8 on one and 6 on the other, and it just looks
wow.
really clean, and it gets the hats off the ground and out of the boxes to where I could see them. And then I just have a hat brush to where if it gets a little dusty, people pay for that look anyways these days. You know?
Right. They want the vintage dust look.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's catch this hat on fire because then it's worth more.
Just light it. Yo, what's your favorite hat brand? The ones that like the
Nick's.
Which one?
Nick Faclaw.
Nick Faclaw.
Yeah.
I gotta write that one down.
What's he out of?
He's
Where
out
is
of
he?
he's out of Venice.
Memphis?
Venice.
Oh, he's here.
Oh,
He's in
whoa.
Venice.
Yeah, it's Fouquet. It's probably Fouquet or say something like that because I believe it's French, but I always say Fouquet because I always think it sounds fun.
I like that. Fouquet just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it sounds Fouquet. Sounds so dramatic.
Yeah, right.
Guys, I'm French. I'm French. You guys didn't know my middle name is Jeffrey Chenault Walker. Chenault. So I can tell you.
That's almost like a pun. Like, Chanel. You know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
My mom.
I always thought they pronounced your last name Walker.
It's French. Jeffrey Chenault Walker.
Walker.
Jeffrey Chenault Walker.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sick name.
That's not bad.
My mom thought I should be named. She's like, I thought you were going to be an attorney, which I'm not. And she was like, I just thought it looked really good on a business card. G. Chenault Walker. Like, I'm like, that's why you named me that in the middle name. So it's cool. Whatever.
So there you go. That's
Whatever.
awesome.
Yo, so
All right.
rock and roll a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to just kind of let you just chat a little bit here so you can meet Casey. I'm going to stop sweating here at some point.
Dude, it was
And-
hot today.
You went from no shirt to sweatshirt.
Yeah. So Courtney
Bold
face
move.
and I'm full, I'm like, it looks like I'm not even dressed. Like I'm walking around my face naked. I'm like, yo,
I was like,
I'm
I
just
didn't
trying to.
realize we were going tropical. I should have worn my bikini.
So, next
I
time.
almost wore my bikini too. Next time we'll do it. Round 2, we'll all wear bikinis.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm light. So
That's dope.
So how we kind of get rolling here, Court, is we start with Casey's going to do a little quick introduction, welcome everybody back in the paint. This is going to be, what is this, our 7th episode? What the fucking
This
number
is
are
like
we on?
7 or 8, somewhere around there now. Yeah.
7, 8. So he'll just do a quick little intro on that. We do this little like, yo, Jeff, how you doing? I'm like, yo, I'm doing great. Blah, blah, blah. Yo, I'm super excited to have an amazing, badass woman with us today. Like, I'll go into that role, and then we'll just really get going. And we really start with the rapid fire questions, just because they're nice, easy little quick break.
Yeah, it's a good icebreaker thing.
Yeah.
And then we'll just jump into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we ask you all the tough, hard hitting 60-minute type questions.
That's right.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Serious Barbara Walters.
Yes, yeah.
Is it getting hot in here? Or is this just
Clearly. So Case, man.
All right, we ready?
Yeah, we're rock and roll.
All right, are you good? You're sweating. Do we need to get a second?
Like, seriously, I'm gonna go change my shirt because I have like a full-on game sweat going on underneath my hoodie, bro. Like, I'll be right back. Hold tight here.
Put on
Come back
a tank top. Let's show the
Come
guns
back.
off.
For real.
That's freaking hilarious.
Classic.
So what time did you get up and you go straight to the beach and start surfing in the morning, or do you go? What do you do?
It depends. Like right now, I'm working on some business stuff, so I've been working on that a lot. And with all the quarantine and a lot of the beaches
Oh
closed.
yeah.
Yeah, and I have some little niggles with my body healing, so I've just been kind of letting those heal since I have time. And so then when I come back, I'm just feeling like 100% ready to rock and roll. So.
Yeah, I'm not a professional surfer by any means, but I'm healing up as well. I had Achilles surgery like 3.5 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, that's a long recovery.
Yeah, it's going to be a monster. I tore it playing basketball, and I made it 38 years on this thing, and tore it in half. Full tear, just pop.
So did you feel it like shrivel up? Shrivels up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like my heel, like it just went boop, and I couldn't move it. It was my heel was just stuck on the floor, and I felt the top part of the Achilles like pull up like a rubber band, behind my calf, and then I could feel the bottom piece like down around like your ankle, like the right side of my ankle. It was quite the ordeal. And then I like hobbled around for a week and then like got it looked at and had surgery. And now I'm on to PT. But,
yeah. I just did a therapy injection for the first time. And that was weird because I don't like needles at all.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh, could that needle be any bigger? And they're like, don't look. I'm like, even if I look away, I could still see it. It's that big.
Yeah. You're going to like see the shine off of it.
Yeah. But I actually hurt my cinders a few years back. Your syndesmosis is like the ligament that connects those two bones there at the bottom. And then I ended up hurting the Achilles and the ATFL, but I didn't tear the Achilles, thank goodness. Yeah. But I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so painful, that whole recovery. Like right when I tore the cinders, my foot was kind of just like that.
Oh, like flopping? Yeah.
I was just doing that, and it was so painful.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, like, I mean, anything with an ankle or a foot, like every time you move, you feel it. There's nothing you can do about it, you know? Like you can't just not walk. So every time you move, it hurts. That's awful.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jeff, you got your wardrobe situation fixed?
Yeah, man. I'm coming back. I'm just putting a little water in my whiskey. I'm good to go. I put the tank top on to go underneath to stop the sweating, and if I put the shirt on over the top, I feel like I'm okay now.
It's a solid move.
Oh, you look good. I love the stripes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good shirt.
Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Found it in a corner, laying in a pile.
Good thing we don't have smell-o-vision on this.
I mean, thank God.
Someday.
All right, my brother. How much time do you have? You got like an hour? You got an hour?
Yeah.
For it? We don't want to go over.
Yeah.
An hour? Yeah. Let me check my. Yeah, I have. Are you there?
Yep.
So I have about 27% battery. So whenever that dies, I'm done.
All right, we're on the clock. All right. Okay. Well, let's get this thing started then. I'll just do the intro, and then Jeff and I'll go back and forth for a second, and then Jeff will intro you, and then we'll jump into stuff.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to In the Paint, everybody. Another great episode coming to you from the COVID-19 studios. My name is Casey Gutting, and with me, as always, is the man, Jeff Walker. What up, Jeff?
What up, my brother, man? How you feeling, man? I'm over here in K-Town Quarantine Studios. You good?
I'm good, man. I got my Purell. I got wipes. I got everything. I'm good.
You know, I think next time we should do one of these, like, with the mask on. It might be a little muffled, but just to let people know, man, we are all about staying at home, staying safe, staying healthy.
I agree with you. The mask would cover up the moneymaker, too. We don't want to do that. Since this is a podcast, you know, I've always been told I got a face for radio.
Who told you had the moneymaker, by the way? Is that your mother?
No. Yeah, actually, that's about it.
Okay.
So anyway, let's get off the moneymakers. This is a bad conversation. Who we got with us today? We've got a great guest today.
Yo, unbelievable guest today. You know, you get these chances to like have people that come into your life that are extremely special. And I literally call her, I know she has other nicknames, but I call her the Ray of Light. because one, confidence, humbleness, driven, selflessness. And then on top of it, just a badass woman who is a world-class surfer. We're blessed to have her on the show. Her name is Courtney Conlogue. So Courtney, welcome to the show.
What up, Courtney?
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit. Sorry.
Is it? That's okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear us at all?
I can hear you now. Yeah, it's kind of gone in and out. I got a little bit of that intro.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we'll do our best. We'll just, if it stops or if you're having trouble, just let us know.
I heard my name. I'm like, I'm on.
That's all you need. That's all you need. Well, let's jump right into it.
Rapid fire questions. So
That's right.
Boom, boom. I got this.
That's right. We'll kick it off with those right now, and we'll nail them right away. So let's get going. First one. Let's put some time on the clock, man. First question: surf or skate?
Can I hear you? Sorry.
All right. First one. Your choice: surf or skate. If you had to pick one.
Surf. Hands down. Surf all day, every day. I only skate when it's small or when it's small. Or if I want to stroll and get from A to B and not walk.
Car or truck?
What is it?
Car or truck?
Car or truck? Truck, for sure. Because I'm an explorer and I love being on the road, and it's definitely a truck because I love having the 6-foot bed.
Love that.
Need to fit those boards somewhere.
Yeah, right. All right, next one. Land, sea, or mountains?
Gosh, that's challenging. Could I have all three, like Taranaki, New Zealand? So you have the mountain and the sea, like right there.
Love that. Now I need a trip to New Zealand.
I definitely would pick sea first.
Okay.
Well, this is an interesting one. How about ski or snowboard?
Definitely snowboard. Snowboarding, probably the reason being is because skiing, you have two boards pretty much, and I'm like, that's too much for me to handle. And I could just see me having a full yard sale trying to do the pizza and the fries, and I could just see one leg up here, the other leg's like trying to recover. Next thing you know, I accidentally get stuck on a mogul and I'm doing just tomahawks down it. So yeah, definitely snowboarding. I at least know one part.
Love it. All right, next one. This is a real tough one. Grilled cheese or PB&J?
On a rainy day, grilled cheese, PB and honey is my favorite. Peanut butter honey.
PB and honey.
Yup.
That's a good move. Now I'm getting hungry.
Peanut butter, honey, and banana.
That's the Elvis. That's the Elvis sandwich. That was Elvis's favorite sandwich.
I had the biggest crush on Elvis Presley when I was younger, so that's probably why. But
Makes sense.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
Impossible burger or real burger?
A real big, juicy burger. You know it.
That was so emphatic. It was just like a real big juice. I love it. All right.
You know
it. Love it. Next one. Jeans or wetsuit?
Gosh. I'm wearing so much denim right now.
So
on.
Perfectly timed question.
Definitely for the water. I'm literally in head-to-toe denim.
I love it.
I'm saying wetsuit.
Canadian tuxedo.
Oh, totally.
Shoes or barefoot?
Barefoot.
Top hat or a dope brim hat or a snapback?
Oh, darn. That one's challenging.
Yeah, we have some tough questions.
Yeah, I say dope brim. Yeah.
Dope brim.
Yeah, it's more
Good choice.
versatile, you know.
Goes with anything.
Yeah, as for a top hat, doesn't really go with every single outfit.
It's very selective.
So you're on the first tee. You drive it off out of the fairway. Are you taking the mulligan or are you playing your drive?
I usually hit another ball.
That's truth right there.
Mulligan.
Mulligan.
I don't count my drives, so I'm just like, we kind of play Scrabble all the time, so that's the one. When I was playing with Ricky, I was like, oh my gosh, this should be interesting, because I never keep count. So I was just like, I could really mess up. And I had a couple. I actually had 2 birdies that day, so I was pretty stoked. Like legit birdies on that course, so it was fun.
On tour at Torrey, right?
At Torrey, I got
at Torrey Pines. Jeez.
Yeah. Got 2 birdies. I was like, yes, I'll take those.
Yeah, give me those. Wow.
Good.
But yeah, I definitely. I mean, I count the drive with him, but I usually hit another ball. I'm like, where'd that ball go? I didn't see it.
I don't know. Hit another one.
Yeah. The worst is if it dribbles in front of you, and then you're like, wow, that was bad.
Yeah, the worm burner that goes 10 feet. Those are the ones that.
Yeah. Well, those are always the ones that you try too hard. You end up looking up, and then you end up just like, yeah, you force it too much. I have this thing when I pull back, I go Maryland and then Monroe. So that follows my pace.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never tried that before.
If I go too fast, then it's like Maryland, Monroe, and then I dunk it. And then my club's like open face, and it's just like 4.
Ball fly off to the right.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that next time I'm out there. I'm probably going to end up saying it out loud too. And everybody around me is going to be like, why does Casey say Marilyn Monroe every time he swings?
Monroe, yeah.
Like, he must be a big fan.
That's genius, though.
That's awesome.
That's genius.
All right, we got a couple more rapid fires, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
And then we'll wrap up the rapid fire. Lion, tiger, bear, or oh my?
Tiger for sure.
Joe Exotic.
Oh my, because I'm like, what's oh my?
Exactly. What's behind that door?
Yeah.
Scary. A dragon.
I don't like scary movies, so I'm like, don't open that door. Don't open it.
This question is gonna break my heart, but it's okay. Clippers or Lakers?
Sorry, Jeff. I'm a Lakers fan.
Dun, dun,
Don't
dun.
clip me. Don't clip my wings, Jeff.
Oh, he was so hurt. You can see it. You can see the hurt.
Yeah,
Okay.
I grew up with the Lakers and looking up to the Lakers and always want to go to a game, and then still have never been to actual Lakers game. That's what's crazy. But I've always been a fan of them. I've just been so busy with surfing. And then the first game I went to was actually a Clippers game with Jeff, and that was a lot of fun.
So he was trying to.
I feel like I should be saying Clippers. I feel like I'm betraying the Clippers team.
It's all good. I mean, the Clippers have been good to you. The Lakers didn't. The Lakers have been bad for a while. They're finally back playing well again. And the Clippers, when you were younger, loving Kobe and Shaq and Rick Fox and all those guys and Robert Horry, I respect the decision making behind that. They were great to watch. But the problem was during that era, like Donald Sterling from the Clippers was a bad owner. So I can understand why you weren't rocking it. Now, though, with Steve Ballmer and the City,
You're
it's
like,
a whole different era.
Thank
you.
So much
That's
enthusiasm.
a wrap on rapid fire.
Yep, rapid fire is done. Good rapid fire. That's a good way to start it off. So, Courtney, what I'd love to do to get going is just kind of like dive in a little bit on a serious-ish note, but kind of more about like you and how you got your start and like your childhood. Like, how did you end up getting into surfing? How did that initiate in your life? How did you become like surfing and skating and everything? You do so many different things, but like specifically like surfing, like how did you start out in surfing and how did that come about?
I got involved in surfing when I was 4 years old, and my dad, he started surfing when he was 12, and he would actually drive from inland. Hold on. Sorry, my
Okay.
my battery. He would drive from inland, and he would literally be in the trunk of a car and take like 2 hours to get to the beach. And so he had this deep love and passion for surfing. So when I was in Mexico with the family, we would go on this fishing, camping, surfing, beach trip. And it was always so much fun. I just remember going there, just eating fish, having corn tortillas, and just beach days all day. And I would be out there on my boogie board. And I just remember one time I was watching my dad, I was going, wow, that looks really fun. And towards the end of his surf, he was coming in. I went, Dad, could you teach me how to stand up? And so he taught me how to pop up. And when I came home, he ended up taking me to Blackie's a couple times in Newport Beach. And then he took me to the Rip Curl outlet in San Clemente, had $150 and said, you could pick anything in these two aisles. And it was a used surfboard rack. And he ended up getting me this 511. I picked it. It was a 511 Rawson. It was red and green, and it looked like Christmas. I was like, I want that board. It looks cool. So yeah, and then I got involved with surfing, and I'm just naturally super competitive. Started competing in martial arts when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Started doing that, and then started competing at 9 years old with surfing. So
Wow,
yeah.
9 years old, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, all against the boys when I first started, and then when I was turned 10, I ended up being in the under 18s. There wasn't a young girls division, so I was straight into women's at 10.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah, it was like, all right, you're a woman now.
Yeah, get out there.
When
Go ahead.
No, it's all good. It's all you.
When I just turned double digits, I started competing against women. Like that is crazy. Where does that mental toughness you think come from at such a young age, where you are already kind of locked in? I love that the competitive spirit is what always separates, I think, from being average to good, and then going from good to great, and then being world class, which is what you are. Like, where does that mental toughness come from at 10 years old?
I think I always just had, I know I always had that will to win, and I feel like maybe I was trying to prove something, maybe not to myself all the time. Yeah, I was prove something to myself, but I had a certain individual when I was like 10 years old, was in front of my parents and I, and they told us to my face, and I was this little kid, there's no talent worth developing on this coastline. And when they said that to me, I was this little girl, so I was just like, whoa, okay. They don't think I'm talented. And so I took it that way. I went, well, you know what? I'm going to show you. And so I think that was kind of like maybe the root at the start. And then when you're trying to prove stuff to someone else all the time, I mean, it'll get you pretty far. But then once you get to certain accolades, then you need to challenge yourself and have your own internal drive. And I've always had that drive. It was just figuring out what that purpose was and what my direction I wanted to go was. And because I remember I had built this certain comp up when I won my first bell. I have 3 bells now, but to get my first bell was, man, a feat. Every single year, it took me, I believe, 4 or 5 years on tour to finally get my first bell because I built it up so big in my head. Mm-hmm. And things happened, like I tore my ankle at the Bells Beach event. I had a 9.5 in the heat. The ocean goes flat for 15 minutes, something I couldn't control. you know, you can only control you and those experiences and handle your cards and play them the best you can. And that's something surfing has really taught me, is like learning what you can control, learning what you can't, learning how to be the best version of yourself on the worst day so you still can win, you know. And finally, when I got that bell, my first one, I was up there on the podium. It's all like, yeah, and I cried while I was getting carried up, because it was a lot. It was a huge emotion and something I looked up to that win when I was little. And so I wanted it so bad. And finally, when I got it, I was like, yes, I got it. And then the next day, I was like, nothing's changed in me. And it's just another day. And it was this like, it almost feels like, I don't really drink a lot, but probably off of a hangover, that sensation you have where it's almost like a hangover off of a win, where you have this adrenaline that just shoots up so high, and it's just like you build it, and then it peaks, and then it just goes boom, and you come off of it, and it's almost like this, you know, and you process. And so I was going, I did all that for a bell. But I went, you know, all this, it was so much more than just the bell. And I was like, what I did to get to that point to be capable to win the bell. And I almost had to let go to receive. And that doesn't mean I wasn't putting as much effort. I was almost just, I was believing, and just believing in the process and believing in all my hard work, and then it played out. And then the next day, it was just like, wow, okay, now to the next. And because we have like 2 days before the next comp, you know, so it's like you come off of this, then you go, whoom, and then you got to bring yourself and build back up right away. So, yeah.
That's interesting that kind of, I mean, all of that is amazing. But what you hear from a lot of high level athletes and ultra competitive people is kind of what you were alluding to and talking about, like controlling what you can control and sort of having faith in the process. And a lot of athletes will say that, will say like, you know, I'm going to do what I have to do. I know what I have to do, and I'm going to continue down that road to be successful. And it doesn't matter what goes on around me over here. I'm going to stay focused. How did you kind of keep that mentality? Like when you have failed, or when you've lost, or maybe when you've gotten knocked down, or maybe an injury or whatever it may be, like how have you been able to sort of like keep that focus and then like manage your mind's expectation, manage your body's expectation, and still have that drive to kind of like keep moving forward?
Yeah. So it's funny because I was talking the other day to Jeff about this, and he had mentioned something that I said just in an interview, and it's something that has basket weaved into how I handle and absorb certain things. And I always have this thing, if I get injured, this gentleman at Bell, after I tore my ankle at Bell's Beach, funny enough, Bell's has taught me a lot, that location. After I dealt with that and had to withdraw mid-event, I called this mentor of mine, and he said, Courtney, you're able to pick this circumstance, and you can decide whether you want it to be a burden or an opportunity. And I was like, I mean, I was so down, I was feeling vulnerable, and I was scared, yeah. And I was in uncharted waters, and it's very unknown for people. And when you do that, sometimes you're nervous, you know? And so I was like, burden or opportunity? And me, I'm like, well, burden, it takes a lot more energy, honestly, to be negative, I've always thought, than to be positive. Like, you actually technically, to frown, use more muscles than to smile. So it's a smile, you know? But I always decide to pick opportunity. But when I come to a situation like that, I always give myself the choice. And the opportunity is, say you're injured, say you fail. And that whole word failure, you know, some people, it's so heavy for them. But in order to succeed, And in order to become something greater, you got to fail 1,000 times. You better get used to not knowing and falling and making mistakes, and not be afraid to make mistakes, because usually out of fear, you end up being indecisive and not picking which way to go. So you end up not knowing if it would work, you know? So one of the big things that surfing teaches you and the ocean is you got to back yourself. You got to follow your intuition. You got to follow your gut, and you have to believe. Whether it's right or wrong, you have to follow it through, and then you know. But if you don't end up seeing it through, you never know, you know? And so I think that's one thing that I've really learned through surfing and through injuries and through failing. And, you know, you get fueled by it. You get fueled by those mistakes. You get down, you hurt yourself, you get back up, you heal, you do everything right. Usually it takes you down a journey that teaches you something in the long term. You end up going, wow, that injury taught me a lot about me, whether it's mental, physical. Sometimes it leads you on a certain path, and you cross someone's path that they end up basket weaving in your life. It's just like, you don't know why you end up in a place. Just embrace it. And I dealt with a concussion this year. Actually, I had 3. Jeez. And my last one was pretty nerve-wracking, you know, and I wasn't me. And I knew I wasn't me. I felt very short-fused and all these different things that I don't need to go into, but it was like I had to rediscover what I wanted to be. Did I want to be that old self, or did I want to become something new, you know, and where I wanted to go with this whole process? Do I really want to go back to that, or do I want to become something greater through this process of healing? And so that's what I did this year. And everyone has a way to outlook on something, and everyone has their different recipe. And I think for me, I always try to find the levity and the optimism, and I'm probably the eternal optimist a little bit, but I think it's long-term, it pays off for sure.
Wow. Thank you for all of that. It reminds me, you know, you think about people coming back for injury, and some of those injuries have been debilitating for people. You know, I think was it 4 or 5 years ago in the surfing world, was it Owen Wright, I want to believe, that had a horrendous crash.
Pipe.
Yeah, pipe, and then being able to come back. Like, there seems to be this commonality in the surf world specifically, as you guys are getting pummeled at any given time. You don't know what's going to happen. That you guys have this, it's almost like this switch to be able to turn it on amongst adversity and flip it in your mind to still be able to get up, work through whatever the rehab process, and then get back out there again. Like, what the hell is that? Find it amongst probably that community. I see more in that community than I do other sports communities. Like, it's like, whatever, I'm going back out there. Like, where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. I feel like the ocean, you know, it has a way of empowering you and humbling you all at the same time. You know, when you end up being a little too ego, cocky, usually you're due for a cleanup set kind of deal. And the one that takes you and it just ragdolls you. And anytime I'm underwater and I'm just getting slammed, I always visualize myself at Six Flags just getting roller coaster, because I love roller coasters. So I'm like underwater, just taking myself elsewhere. I was actually, but I think, I almost went chasing a squirrel, so I'm pulling myself back. But but yeah, so I feel like that might be it. But I also think, like, because of how many times we get slammed down and we just have to deal with a wipeout or getting out the back on a big day, I feel like dealing with all that, we're getting literally just beat up by the ocean all the time in our own little way that doesn't always injure us. You know, we just handle, and we learn how to handle. And Yeah, it's this balance. The ocean teaches you a lot, and it's hard to explain. It's a place where you go to heal. It's a place where you go to challenge yourself, and yeah, it's pretty beautiful. Only a surfer knows the feeling, kind of, but for or an outdoors person, I feel like when you're submerged in nature, actually with rock climbing, I've been dabbling in that a bit, and there's similarities to surfing that I'm noticing, just where I literally was learning from scratch, so I was just figuring it out, and where your technique and your skill will hold you back to a certain level, and you keep attempting, failing, and you try 100 times, and then finally, and you get closer every time, and then finally you grab that hold and you're like, yes, I got it, and then you fall off, and then you got to do it again and again, and then finally you send it and you figure out the beta. And for me, surfing has that same thing, and it teaches you a lot on how to be okay with falling, failing, and you just get up and you do it again. And it doesn't matter how far you fall, you just keep building and building and building. So if you fall from here to here, yeah, it's going to be a big climb, but you'll get back up there, and it's just believing that you'll get there, and you know your end game, and you create these little steps to kind of build yourself up and empower you through that process.
That's really interesting. I've kind of never thought of it in those terms, in a sense that both metaphorically and actually physically, you are getting knocked down over and over and over and over and over again in surfing. Same thing with skateboarding and rock climbing, to where that builds up not only a physical resiliency, but it builds up a mental resiliency too, that a lot of athletes probably struggle with, because in team sports, so to speak, it doesn't really function the same way.
Yeah, maybe there's probably similarities in their own version, but I feel like football, man, those guys take a hit. They're gnarly. Kudos to them. I would not want to be a lineman looking at that other lineman. No, thank you. I'd rather look at a 15-foot wave and take that on the head.
Wow.
Yeah, it's, I have such a huge respect for their own things, and they have their own nuances that create their strengths. But I think that's the one reason and those football players, they're taking on concussion after concussion after concussion after concussion. So, those guys are handling things in a different chart, So me, I had 3 last year,
Right.
And maybe little ones, but it's just I can only imagine them taking head on in the helmet over and over again, So it's, yeah.
To that point, there's been talk about, well, they're what is it, Tahiti? Is it Chupu, where they have massive waves and Chopu, where they're having
the
waves
big wave
massive.
riding, yeah.
And then the men do it, and yet they haven't necessarily opened it up to women, I guess. Am I correct? And then is that something that you feel should be, if we're going to go on a conversation a little bit down the path of equity and equality and what women are doing in the surf world and men are doing, how do you feel about that? What's your vibe on that in general?
Well, me, me, I love my big waves, so I actually would love to have that on our tour. And to me, that wave, there's something about it. It's Mother Nature, and what she does at that location is unreal, and just the way the reef is, and it definitely takes a lot of training. And if we were to have a location like that, you would see me in Tahiti a lot, just to practice and get the reps up and deal with those wipeouts, because it's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
You might as well, you just got to handle them, you got to learn it, you got to figure out the way to make it happen. And for me, I believe the 2024 Olympics will be there for surfing. It's looking like possibly. So if that were to happen, I'd be super stoked. That wave, you get one good barrel there. It's like 3 to 5 seconds. It's one of those waves you won't ever forget.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's
That's
what
perfect.
is that's yeah.
Perfect segue.
What's the biggest wave that you've ridden?
I'd say probably 20 to 23 feet.
That's huge. That's 2 stories. Now,
It's pretty big.
yeah, that's pretty good size. So I've never I've I've never fallen from that size of a wave. So
You actually skip. You don't penetrate. You usually
you
skip
just
like a rock.
jeez.
Yeah, because you're going so fast. And it was those waves, chokes is like that, not at the same size, but it's a wave where you actually feel you're paddling. And because the wave's moving so fast, you're paddling as hard as you can, but you're actually pulling up. You're going backwards, and then you like catch it. And it's definitely an adrenaline rush, and the decision making that you do in those circumstances, it's very mentally different than like competitive surfing. It's not like get on waves as quick as you can. And sometimes you compromise with heats for quality of wave. But for me, at least, with just to get the score and you perform up. As where for me, big wave, I follow that intuition and that gut 100%. And I never compromise. I always go for the one that feels like the right wave for me to go. I don't just impulsively go, I'm going, you like process, the wave you're looking for, the direction it's going to come in at, and then you go. And you weigh your risk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling your intuition in the water, that's just like a gift. That's another gift in itself.
It's
Man, we
another
could go on
level, yeah.
talk about the story, like, well, how do you feel that intuition? How are you feeling, or how are you feeling the water that day? And if I'm going to kind of just jump and segue, because we're talking about one location, and hopefully 2024 the Olympics there, and now with the Olympics here, with the Olympics in Japan being pushed a year, and Japan being known for having smaller waves, like, what is your mind state currently right now about the Olympics being pushed? How are you keeping your competitive spirit up around that? And then it going to Japan, I guess, next year now, and then knowing that, the waves are just different there. Have you processed all that?
Well, sadly, I won't be in the Japan due to all the concussions I had to deal with. They've already done selection.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of a bit of something life circumstances and things that happen. But you live and grow through it. And honestly, if in hindsight, I think it's a blessing in disguise for long term for me. And I'm really looking forward to Tahiti, and it gives me time to prep for that. And, surfing, get the kinks out at the first Olympics, see what, the glitches are. And Japan, I hope they get waves. Fingers crossed for them. It's one of those spots where it's really small, and you kind of need that typhoon, and you don't really want to hope for a typhoon. Typhoon, yay, waves are going to get good.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the byproduct and the aftermath of that is never really a good thing. But for that moment.
Yeah. So that's why we never actually hope for the storm. We just prepare for when it comes, and then we're ready. Everyone's running one way, we run the other way and go surf.
Let's talk about, I remember watching a video recently, speaking of, smaller waves, but, the person that you are from a charitable standpoint, and like how your vibe is with the youth and with young kids who are just learning, you want to put them in a position so they can learn to love surfing like you do. Like, tell us about how you feel when you get the opportunity to work with young kids who are going out in the water for like the first time.
Oh, it's probably, I actually get probably almost the same amount of joy when I teach like the AWOW Walk on Water kids how to surf, and any of those groups where I'm helping them with surf camps and stuff. It's just, there's something about sharing something you love so passionately with someone else, and the joy that they get when they stand up for the first time, even if you facilitate them having that moment and you're like, I'm almost creating that tricycle for the bicycle kind of vibe,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of create those little handles, I stabilize, and I make sure they just have that joy. I tried to create this little bubble where they always have a good experience and they don't have to deal with the heavy side of surfing. So it's just really nice and light and levity to feel that fun that the ocean actually gives. And yeah, the smiles I get to just see from them, it just radiates. And I'm like, wow, that's exactly why I do what I do. It's really special.
What are the organizations again? Repeat them for us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Who do you work
give
with?
them some love.
I work with a Walk on Water. They're kids that have Down syndrome and some are nonverbal. We've worked with Easter Seals, Easter Seals, yeah. And so those are usually the two. And then with WSL, we also, World Surf League, we have Rising Tides, which we work with young women at every single one of our stops on tour. And the day before we start competing, or 2 days, we take these young women out in each location and take them surfing and give them some tips every here and there. It's really, really special.
That's awesome. I think surfing and professional surfing and WSL has been they're more of a leader. And I guess you could use the term progressive in their approach to making sure that young women can go out there and surf and know that they're equal to young men who are surfing, and there's no disparaging thing about that. Like, if you want to be a girl who wants to go out there and rock it as a young girl surfing, go ahead and do that. We're going to support you in those efforts. And I think, I guess some of the more well-known sports, per se, take notes from how the WSL has really focused on empowering young men.
Yeah, it's really cool how it's evolved over the years. When I first was involved in it, it was very heavy the other way, and to have a little more of that balance is really special. And I think that's probably, the generations before us, they're striving to have that, and to finally have something that's in that right direction is, it's really special to be a part of that time. And to have individuals now that are going to be qualifying that don't know any different is going to be so cool, and we kind of were in the trenches with the previous generations, and I'm grateful to be a part of reaping those rewards now, and because WSL believes in the equality and the pay parity and stuff, and they're moving everything in the right direction and showing it and acting it, not just saying it. So it's a really cool
Other
time
leagues,
to be a part of surfing.
Other leagues, take note, please.
No kidding.
Take note.
Yeah.
WNBA, take note. Take note. Soccer,
Yeah.
take note. Please.
You're in like an interesting kind of like, yeah, there you go. Take the notes. You're in an interesting like time frame for it too, because you're seeing it kind of progress and you're a part of it, like in the moment. You're a part of it progressing, and then you're going to be able to see what it is in the future as well. So that must be just kind of a cool, like, at looking back on your life someday, you're going to be like, I literally saw this from beginning to end, or beginning to what it could be, and you were a part of it.
Yeah. And that's what's so special. I mean, imagine being like in the era of tennis with Billie Jean King, and you're a part of that crazy movement. Like, that was insane, so for women's surfing and surfing to have it, the evolution happening during my time in my sport is really special. And obviously we're not stopping here. We want to go up here, because you never just settle. It's like, might as well, why don't we just elevate everyone now? So so I think that's the next phase, and I believe everyone working together. And it was so funny. I wrote something down, and it's one person's a voice, many is a choir. And it was like a super random thing that I had wrote down. I think I was probably late at night before a heat or something. I was going through my notebook. I was like, That's pretty cool. And it's really poignant and it's deep. It's really deep because it's like,
Great.
you know what? That's how you create sound, and it's how you create movements, how you create change. One person is really powerful, but when you get the whole team or the whole group doing the same sound, it radiates, it moves, and yeah, it's how change happens, you know. And I think,
Mhm.
yeah.
No.
That's
John,
that's
imagine
a
all the people. I mean, come on.
yeah, right. That's a mantra right there. I love that. Between that and the way you described having a big ego on the wave, and sometimes you need a wipeout. Like, how did you word that? I thought that was great.
I forget. I just talk sometimes. Sorry.
It's so good. It's like sometimes
I
when the
just
ego
talk
gets
from
big,
the
you're due
heart.
for a wipeout.
Hey, let's talk. The ego. So the ego gets big and the wave checks you. I mean, it corrects you,
Yeah,
lets you
like
know,
It
like,
keeps
that's
you
hey,
in
I,
check. I think that's
yeah,
right.
that's
It keeps you
yeah.
in check.
It's a
Yeah.
metaphor for life.
what
Yeah.
about? All right,
Yeah,
so
if
you're
you
in the.
just need to get humbled, like go to the shore break. Make sure you know how to swim first.
Yeah, that's the key, right?
You'll probably
When
end
you're,
up on Puke of the Day though, so just be careful.
I'm thinking when you're coming up with quotes in the middle of the night before you go to bed, or in the middle of a heat. You just said actually, you're coming up like quotes that are hitting you. Like that
Yeah.
is a great way to like. When does your mind stop? Because let's talk photography. Let's talk
Yeah, let's
painting.
pivot into that.
Other little passions that you have when you go on a trip to Africa and you're taking pictures on a safari with your mother of incredible elephants and animals out on safari because you have this vision, you just see things, and then you're taking
Yeah.
your moments of just painting all the way through as well. The waves, like talk to us about that other side of you, which is incredibly creative, and you're just as passionate about that probably as you are surfing.
Yeah. For me, that's kind of the yin to my yang. The art and the photography is kind of the do nothing, not do nothing, be something. That was something I came up with during my concussion when I was having to meditate. So before I'll go back onto the photography stuff, I'm chasing a squirrel right now with you guys. But before my concussion, I couldn't sit still for more than half an hour. I just want to do because of all my passions with photography, art, surfing, training, track and field at the time in high school. And it's like I'm bouncing around and I'm juggling all these things and I'm capable of juggling them. So why stop? But then I was forced to stop. So I was having to meditate for like hours on end to get my head back to that neuroplasticity and to heal it and to get it back into beta. I mean, out of beta and putting it into alpha and theta and into that more healing parasympathetic phase. And so through all that time, I was like, I'm going to become Baby Yoda. And I came up with this quote, do nothing, be something. And it's about being able to just be present. And it was this really random quote I came up with. And I just thought it just ran true for what I was doing at that time. And so it's just like, yeah, it was about being able to just close your eyes and just be right there, right in that moment, you know? And so that was really cool. But going back to your photography and art question, yeah, those are that less is more for me. And that's where when I'm just going, and I just, sometimes you don't know what to write. So for me, I just grab a canvas or a piece of paper and I'll just start drawing or I'll just start putting paint on a canvas if I don't know what to start with. And it ends up being just a backdrop to a piece. And then for photography, I love how it just captures a moment in time. You know, it's like a little time capsule. When you take a photo, it's just like this moment that will never be seen again, you know? And it's kind of like a wave. There's only one of them, and then, or a snowflake, and every single wave is different. So it's just a special moment that I try to capture with the camera. And yeah, it was fun to share it this year in my first art show.
Art show was, Casey, the art show was dope. I drove down there I walked in and just seeing, one, the community, the love and support that Courtney has with her friends down there was tremendous. And I spent a lot of time talking to her mother about the trip to Africa and the bonding. I think that you guys probably, deepened, I think, you guys' relationship as well, which is crazy because your mom's been there throughout the whole process, and your dad, but for your mom being on that trip, she said such wonderful things about Africa. Like, she's like, wants to go back. And I almost feel like your mom was literally like, I will move to Africa.
We
Come
both
visit
were
me.
feeling that way. Like, I was looking at properties, I was like, I could totally like have that little shack right there and be so happy. It's just like there's something about Africa. And my mom, she's always loved elephants and she collects them, and it's just one of her things that she's always loved. And so after I finished that event, I was like, we have a couple days left. Why don't we do one of these 3-day safaris? And it's this really cool reserve where they give back to the animals and they do all this amazing stuff. And I'm like, why don't we stay at this place and experience living amongst the animals and seeing them in just beautiful Africa? And it was so beautiful and so special to share that with her. And I think she just came back from that just like, because we saw like every single animal possible, and tons and tons of elephants. So yeah, it was a really special thing to share with her.
I gotta meet your mom now. This is amazing.
No, her mom's energy is incredible. And like, and I being able to see them both, but being able to see how Courtney is and being able to see her mother, and you see a lot of similarities, and that ability that just doesn't stop, the energy, the Energizer Bunny, like just keep on going and going and going, and that connection and that connectivity to like life and like being present. It permeates, and you can see it from her mother, and then you obviously see it in Courtney as well.
And
so
it's obviously infectious too. I mean, I'm seeing it today. This is cool. Do you think so? You've been all over the place. Africa. I saw the Cuba video. That was dope. Like, where's your number one spot? Is Africa it? Like, if you go anywhere right now and kick it, where would it be?
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
Take me.
Beam me up. I don't know. South of France right now would be pretty nice. You know, sipping some espressos with beautiful beaches. That sounds pretty good right now.
That's not too bad.
And your hats. And your hats by Nick.
I'll just need one hat. It'll probably be my tan, like wider brim hat to make sure I don't get sunburned.
I love it. Wearing the Fuqua in the south of France.
That's
yeah.
Right.
With the striped shirt, I'll need to borrow that. that fashion statement. I need the striped shirt with like my tan hat. Be pretty cute.
Yeah. You'll have to take it in a little bit. I have been eating a lot over quarantine. So it's expanding.
The quarantine 15 is real.
It's on that one. I have my striped shirts. I'm just definitely copying your vibe right now.
Look, if I'm following your footsteps, I'm fine with copying your vibe.
You're on a good move.
I dig it. Hey, funny stuff. What's your favorite thing to do? Like movie wise in your downtime, like when you have actually you don't ever have downtime because you're always going, but like do you have any craziness around, you watch random movies that are some of your favorites, or random television show, like you watch Real Housewives of something, or no?
Yeah, what's the guilty pleasure?
I love the show Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
It's a great show.
I love that show. It's so good, and I love that time, that era that it takes place in. It's amazing. Wonder Woman's badass. Sorry, I don't know if I could say that on here. I try to keep
say anything you want here.
But love that. Yeah, Gal's she's so rad. She plays that part really well. And then I love Step Brothers and Bridesmaids and White Chicks. And then Forrest Gump. Oh my gosh, Forrest Gump is so funny. And then if I want to start going to like the serious, like inspiring movies, I'll watch Blades of Glory. Just kidding.
Super inspiring, funny as shit. There's always
Yeah.
time for humor.
That movie inspired me to never be an ice skater.
Right? But no, then I'll watch then I'll watch Legend of Bagger Vance and Peaceful Warrior and those kind of things. And yeah, those are really good. And then
I can't believe you haven't mentioned Point Break. How is Point Break not like
Point Break, the original one?
The real
is
one, yeah.
Awesome.
With
I love the
Keanu.
original. Oh, that's such a classic. Probably because
Yeah.
it's only VCR for me.
Yeah.
And then, gosh, what's another good one? Gosh, there's quite a few. I'm actually in the process of watching Breathe for the first time, which takes place in Australia, and I'm really enjoying it. I find it really entertaining and realistic, you know, for that time period, and it's pretty cool. So I'm enjoying that. And then yeah, I love film. Little Women, that's awesome. That's a good one. 1917 was pretty intense. But
that was incredible. Yeah, that film was unbelievable.
Cinematography was
Jojo
beautiful.
Rabbit. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I love Jojo Rabbit. Like Jojo Rabbit's awesome. Taika's so classic. I love the way he acts and just that quirkiness, and he is so just like that. He's just him. He just acts him with whatever character he needs to portray.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's so cool.
What's your music vibe?
Music vibe. Lake Street Dive, Nina Simone, Maggie Rogers, Billie Eilish, Lizzo.
It's a guilty. Lizzo's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, right.
I know. Good as hell, that song. I had it playing with every single thing. I found a way to basket weave it into all my Instagram stories somehow. And I'm like, it totally goes. I'm like, it works right now.
That's a kind of parlaying off that. Like, what do you listen to get hyped for like a competition? Is there any music that like goes into that?
There's a little bit of, I'm trying to think. Gosh, I haven't listened to that playlist in a while. Oh my goodness. I'm spacing it out.
But you do, that's all good. You do have a playlist though that you, every time you're in competition, you go to.
Yeah, it's a playlist called Fuck Shit Up.
Yo, Court, you
amazing.
need to send us that.
Yeah, send us the playlist.
Let this thing run because that's
it's so
dope.
funny.
Yeah.
I've always vibed out. So
it
this
has
is my
dollar signs, and it's so funny. I made it like my rookie year on tour, and it's just grown. So don't judge me. It's totally evolved, or judge me. I don't care. No regrets.
No, I'm sure it's amazing.
No, I've always wanted to know supremely talented athletes. Like I'm always like, I think the world will want to know what their playlist is, because a way to shift yourself into the zone that you need to be locked in and be focused. And there's certain songs that are going to take you through the emotions of like, that's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, random one that really gets me into like the moment is Sia Breathe Me, to like bring me back to being centered.
Wow.
It's a cool song for that. I don't know. Every time she like does that big deep breath right at the start, I have to take that deep breath, and it just gets me back in the now and the present. It works for me. So
that's awesome.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we got to get that playlist. We're gonna have to analyze.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And there's actually Chuck Berry in there. So
love it.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Johnny B. Good.
Yeah.
Beethoven. Roller Beethoven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
Which goes back to the whole Elvis thing, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, like that.
I think they have Jailhouse Rock in one of those, you know. Blue Suede Shoes is definitely in one of those playlists.
Do you think there's a tie-in with your love of Elvis and your love of Forrest Gump?
Oh, hands down. When he's like, he does that hip thing. Yeah.
Yeah. He's swinging his hips.
Swinging his hips. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I invested in this company called Apple, is some fruit.
Some fruit company. We don't need to worry about money anymore.
Yeah. There's so many one-liners. I've never seen a film that has so many single lines that basket weave that I will reference at some moments, you know? It's just like one of those films that it's timeless, and there's so many messages actually in that film that carry through life, you know?
Yeah. It's very
I love the part
applicable.
where he gets shot in the butt. He's like, yeah, something came up and bit me. He's like, I had to eat ice cream for like 2 weeks or whatever. I'm
The
like,
best part about
he gets sponsored for ping pong.
yeah, it's amazing.
Hold on. So here's a question, Casey, a question that we do like to ask.
Oh yeah, this is a good question. I know what you're gonna ask.
Guys, I'm on 1%. FYI,
Right, so
do you want to email me the link if you on the Zoom link if you want to continue?
Yeah, we can email
it.
All right, then SEATIGERCOLLAB @gmail.com. Tiger Collab.
Sea Tiger Collab?
Yeah, at Gmail.
Cool lab? Cool? Like cool?
Collab. Collaboration.
Collab.
So it's
collab.
so it's
okay,
SEA Tiger COLAB.
COLLAB.
2 L's. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Collaboration.
Collaboration.
And then, so can we steal like another 10 minutes? Because the last question that it messed with you on
I just don't want it to die out. I've been checking and it's like on 1%, so it's going to go boom anymore.
So here's gonna be the thing. Think about who's gonna play you in your own biopic. Think about that.
What?
Own biopic, your own film.
So the movie about Courtney later in life, when they make a movie about you, who do you want playing you?
And then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, I just emailed the link over to you, so check your
Kristen
email.
Bell.
That's a good answer.
Great answer.
She could actually pull off my character, I feel like.
Yeah, she's great.
Sure. Yeah, here, let me see. Oh, yeah, got it. Sweet. Here, let me join the meeting over here. Wow, you could have 2 Courtneys. That's crazy. That's a lot to handle.
Double the Courtney.
Right, let's see. All right, I'll exit this one, and I think I'm coming on there. Whoa!
There it is. Look at that multicam angle.
Whoa! 2 angles. What? How's this? This is legit.
That is real.
Hold on.
Oh, there goes the echo. That's an in the paint first right there.
That was intense. It got like really echoey for a sec.
Multi-dimensional woman, multi-talented.
Living
That was
in
incredible.
a multi-dimensional Zoom call.
Wonder if that's been done a couple times. Sure, it had to have been.
So Kirsten Bell, why Kirsten?
So Kristen Bell, yeah. Let's get to that. So Kirsten Bell plays you. Why Kirsten Bell? What do you like?
It was either her or Margot Robbie, but I feel like Margot's done so many sport films already. But I mean, the reason I feel like Kristen Bell could play my characters is probably because she just has, I think, genuinely some of the same personality. So she wouldn't have to try. She would just kind of need to be and then funnel herself into that sport mentality, because I feel like she has that serious like professional side, but then she knows how to switch it on and then switch it off and go into her levity, you know, like she's with Dax Shepard. Someone like that would have to have that adrenaline junkie side, you know, and just understand that levity. And she, I feel like embodies just being, you know, and
and not to mention she must have a great sense of humor and a lot of goofy side to her as well.
I know, I feel like she has such a good goofy side, and I feel like us 2 in a room might be ridiculous.
I think there'd be a lot of positive energy.
Yeah, just positive vibes. I'd be like, whoa.
What was the show with her and Don Cheadle? That was like my favorite joint.
House of Lies. House of Lies.
Incredible.
House of Lies.
Yeah, it's an incredible show. Yeah. That one was great.
Fantastic.
Have you watched any of her new show? The one, The Good Place?
Yeah, I watched some of that. It's really good.
Yeah,
I
it's really
enjoy
funny.
it. I'm only still on the first season because I've been so hooked on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is kind of funny. So I accidentally, because I was still learning how to use, it's on Prime, right? Yeah. So I was still learning how to use it. And so, for some reason, I watched the last season before I watched the first season. And then like, oh no, why is it all done already? And then I got into season 1 and 2. I'm like, yes. And I went, oops, I watched the end before I watched So I did my own flashback. But it's a really long one, like 20 episodes behind.
Yeah.
I did that with Mad Men when it was back on
really?
DVD. I started Mad Men at the end, and I was like, what am I doing? And then that's back when you used to go to a DVD store, and you could actually rent a DVD. Yeah, it was like a box.
Like a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of like that. It was kind of like that, but I watched it backwards, and I was like, oh my God, I already know the story ending. But it's still one of my favorites of all time.
It's still really good. Show. Like even Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, if you watch season 3, you end up understanding where she ends up, and then you watch it all happen. It's kind of cool. It worked out really well still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a photo.
Kristen Bell. Huh?
I'm gonna send you a marvelous. I'm gonna send you a marvelous photo.
Marvelous.
You at the Amazon Golden Globe event that was that show, and they had the Redberry Hotel up here in Hollywood completely transformed into that time period. And I have this funny picture of me with one of the ladies from that was dressed up as, that time period. And I'm going to send it to you because I just think it's a great photo.
Yeah.
Because if I was in that era, this is exactly how I would dress in that era.
That's exactly what life would have looked like.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's not that great of a thing for you to get a picture from me dressed up as a guy.
Oh, I got to see this.
It's going to be really cool.
Sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be marvelous.
Absolutely marvelous. So what can we need to get, like, when you have time, what would be cool is if you can get a little like video or photos of some of your art that we could use to like put, because we could post that for you like on our social and like push that out. It'd be really dope for us to see all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. And I have some like BTS of the first art show and stuff, and it'll be cool.
That'd be really
awesome.
We want all of that for sure. And then we want to, like, if there's any still images, of you in your element, from surf to painting to photography, that we could have also and use those across social too. Because look, at the end of the day, Court, your story is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's
and
phenomenal.
your vibe is unreal. It's funny, I was talking with you might remember my friend Sarah Schnarr from when you came up to
Unbreakable. Oh yeah, I know Sarah. Well, I remember.
She absolutely adores you, and she's just like, I've never met someone who's so humble and confident and driven in a moment at that crazy ass gym Unbreakable, which we all love. And she follows you, and she's just like, please just send her my love. Like, she just vibes. I go, look, we got the after. We're gonna talk to Court. So she wanted to sure that she said hello to you.
Be sure to say hi to her for me.
He surfs, by the way. So I'm like, in my mind,
Sarah's surfing. That's it.
Doing it for a long time. So it's like, I feel like
we should have a board meeting.
Yeah.
We should all do that as soon as possible.
Yeah. We could stay 6 feet apart. It's chill.
Yeah, right? We can be in the water 6 feet apart.
Totally. I'll be on the beach watching you guys.
Yeah.
No, you're coming. I'm taking you out there.
As soon as my Achilles is healed, I'm in.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Speaking of 6 feet apart in the water, have you ever, this is a weird random question, but Jeff and I were talking about the guy who punched a shark in the face, the surfer. What was his name? Mick Fanning.
Yeah.
Have you ever like been out on the board in the water and seen a shark? And if so, like, how'd that go down?
I've seen sharks multiple times in the water. One was in Africa, a couple have been in Margaret River in Western Australia, and there's a 6 foot like thrasher shark one time, and I mean, they'll take a chunk, but it's not like a big chunk like a white, so you'll survive it unless it's like your side or somewhere, you know, life threatening. But like if it's just your arm, you kind of live, you know, but it's still terrifying when it actually happens. You don't know how you'll handle it till it's like right then and right there. And it's one of those scenarios you never know till you're there, how you react. So anyways, I was at the spot at Margaret's, and my friend and I just caught a wave. She's on the right side of the peak. I'm on the left. I'm like, hey, look at the school of fish. There's like hundreds of fish. And I was like, wow, this is so pretty, you know? And then I duck dive, and all the fish are like hitting me. And then all of a sudden this big thump hits my side. I'm like, I was hoping it was my friend. And I come up, and there's this thrasher shark just like boom, boom, like feeding on the fish. And I go to my friend, hey, what do we do right now? Because we're on shortboards, you know? She's like, I don't know. And so I'm like, let's reverse pike. And we're like doing this reverse V up, trying to let the shark get away from us. And then we saw a wave, and we just caught the wave in. I was like, it's not worth risking.
Wow.
Yeah. That was one of them at Margaret's. And then there's another one. There's a huge deep channel there, and usually while we're there, the salmon are running, so there's a lot of whites in the water, you know, the men in the tuxedo, and most of the time they want the salmon, but we kind of get caught in the crossfire. They don't really like us, and we taste really bad to them. We're just kind of, we just kind of cross on accident with them, you know, and they think we're seals. But so I was at Margaret's, and I was paddling back out from catching this left again. Something about going left in Margaret's and sharks. They're always on the left side. But so this
right next time,
all of a sudden this really, really, really big dark shadow. And you know the difference between one shadow and another shadow. It just starts like kind of torpedoing towards me. I'm like, and it's usually the ones that you don't see that get you. So I wasn't too stressed out, but I'm like, it's kind of on dusk and stormy. It was really not worth it, you know? And I had just been surfing, and it was super stormy. It was like 10 to 12 feet. And it's getting closer to me. I'm going, okay, it's a little too close to comfort now. So I like beeline it as calmly but as fast as possible to the whitewater and just get worked all the way in and come up on the beach. I'm like, there's a shark out there for sure.
Wow. That's like, I just can't even imagine that, because I've played team sports my whole life. Like I played basketball in college. Like I've never played a sport. I grew up in a combination of Pennsylvania and Colorado. I've never played a sport that could actively kill me while I'm doing it, like by another animal.
I'm more nervous of the 5 freeway though, if I'm honest. Like, especially right now, I feel like everyone's on their phones or their head's like not where it should be. It's not there on the road. It's kind of like, you know, probably chasing squirrels somewhere.
Absolutely.
And if I'm totally honest, I'm not really scared of a shark. Like we're in their territory and their kingdom, and it's kind of their home. It is their home. So I'm in their yard, you know, so I respect them, and I actually find them extremely beautiful. But with that, you also know the risk, you know, and I've gone free diving with sharks in Hawaii where I've done cageless dives with black tips and things like that. And they range from like 10 feet and under, the sharks I was diving with. And they're actually really graceful, beautiful creatures. It's just you're kind of in their food chain on accident, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. But I think they're actually
it's amazing. The way you look at it, it's amazing. Yes, you are in their home. If I saw a shark, I would never go back in the water again.
Me too.
I've seen Jaws. I've seen Jaws back in the day, and it's
I've
intimidating.
never watched Jaws. I don't like scary movies. I don't like
Fair.
scary movies. And I decide,
Well,
you know what's really cool about movies? You just decide what you want to watch. You don't have to watch it.
It's very true.
You know? So
You don't
me, I'm like,
accidentally just come upon watching Jaws.
yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I don't just accidentally stumble. I just watch the scary movies, the ones that are called scary movie. I find those scary.
Oh,
I am
the spoof movies, yeah.
yeah, the spoof movies, but I'm still like, there's moments where like, ow, what? No, you know? I'm just, yeah, I just, yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that gives me chicken skin.
Oh, hilarious.
I'm more scared of a scary movie. Like, I've been forced to watch The Grudge and The Ring. And those, or I think it's called The Ring, they're very scary. And I was forced to watch it when I was like 14. And I have a feeling I was like sucked into the cushion, somehow vacuum sealed by the end. You know? So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch scary movies. I'm not either.
I like action. I like action packs and comedy and rom-coms. And I like Marvels. Marvel movies are pretty cool. Those are action. Action with comedy.
Yeah, they add
like
a little
Deadpool,
bit of everything.
Oh my gosh.
Deadpool is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Right?
Incredible.
That's like action comedy, like Thor Ragnarok. That's another action comedy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Those are
good.
classiks. I take those over a Shark Attack any day.
Same, and watching Jaws.
Don't watch it.
Man.
Yeah.
That was great. That whole story is, man, I just can't even fathom being in the water with a shark. I'd freak out. I know I'd lose it completely.
Yeah, but see, I look at like photos of tigers and I think they look cuddly. So I always like want to grab their head and just squeeze.
Have you watched The Tiger King?
No.
Oh
No.
God.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
All right, but let's go there. Let's go there though. Yeah, your nickname is Sea Tiger.
My nickname's Tiger. I just turned it into Sea Tiger.
So where does that originate from?
Well, so Sea Tiger. So Little Tiger was Little
that
Tiger.
hat is dope.
Yeah, she has dope merch.
That hat is
Merch
dope.
is dope.
That one?
I'm showing.
No,
I have.
Jeff's got the Sea Tiger hat.
Oh yeah, the Sea Tiger hat he's wearing. I was like, that one's like not. Don't judge me, but you can't even see it. Yes, that one's like feng shui kind of vibes. That hat, but no. So I got the Little Tiger nickname when I was 4, and I was doing martial arts and stuff, and I just had this little personality. I've always had this gnarly fire just deep down, and so they gave me that nickname when I was 4, and then over time, somehow I didn't tell anyone in surf, but my fans started just saying it, and it kind of just happened. So I was like, huh. And then no one knew about my business name that I've had since like 2011, Sea Tiger, and I had trademarked it over just for taxes. It was either Sea of Green, which was kind of like a pun, you know, like ha ha ha, where you file your taxes and money. I was like, huh, this is funny, Sea of Green. And Mom's like, I kind of like this one better because you might be able to use it. I'm like, yeah, that's a good call. And so then Sea Tiger was created in 2011, straight out of high school. And yeah, I've always had a love for tigers, and then it's just kind of been my spirit animal. And yes, it's pretty cool. But they're like this. What I love about tigers are they're so calm. When you look at them, they're just super calm and peaceful. But then when they're in their hunt mode, they just attack.
Yeah, they flip.
You know,
like
they
that.
go from like calm and just chilling out to like, boom, you're gone. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's this beautiful balance. And I feel like that's how I kind of trigger, because it's like in my heat and in my jersey, it's fight and hunt. And then once I'm on the beach, it's me and my levity, and, you know, so yeah.
It's you. Like you're very similar. You're on the attack. When that wave comes, you're on the attack, which is incredible. And after you've sat there and got your intuition and you're feeling the ocean and determining like what's next, I'm going to go take that. Yeah, your vibe. That's amazing. Talk about the because you use the Sea Tiger though with like the Carver skateboard also. Like, how did that deal come about? Because the Carver skateboard, like watching you skate through the neighborhood. So I grew up a skater. So watching you skate through the neighborhood was like literally the dopest shit that I've seen in a long time. I love the waves, but I can't do waves. So for me to connect on like just the fluidity of it and the beauty of it and the lines that you're taking and the route that you're taking and hitting the different hills on the driveway, like that's ill. So did they approach you? Did you approach them? And I know, like, how did that work?
Well, I've been a skater since I was a kid outside of surfing. Whenever I was small, my dad, he would take me to Van skate park and I would skate the bowls, the pool, the half pipes. I did the 15-foot half pipe back in the day. Not anymore. No way.
Wow.
It's like asking for a wrist break or something.
Yeah, that's intense.
But I used to do all that stuff and sustain a couple of my injuries that way. Not my big ones, but some of my little ones. And then Carver reached out to me and they knew I loved art. They heard it through the grapevine and they loved what I was about. And we ended up collabing. I wanted them to create the Sea Tiger with me on the board. And I've always loved natural wood grain, like that raw wood look on a skateboard. I always just think it looks amazing. And then adding the Sea Tiger flair to it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I just showed the natural raw wood with that graphic, which is really, really cool.
It's a beautiful deck. It's a beautiful deck. The trucks,
Thank you.
even the size of the deck is amazing. Like I actually need to buy one. I need to buy one of yours. Then I will.
It's the bigger one, right? It's like the bigger, fatter deck. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the wider. It has the wider nose and stuff, but I believe it's short enough. I wanted it to be short enough so a kid could take it to school and chuck it in his locker. And
smart.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be really cool because, you know, it's an easy way to, instead of walking to school, and you could lock it in the locker.
When I was a kid, so I used to spend, so we talked on other episodes, we talked about like how we used to save our money up for when we were our allowance. I used to mow lawns or whatever, do what I had to do. And I used to use part of that money to either buy sneakers, which were Jordans. I used to always want to buy Jordans.
Yep.
And then the other part was buying skateboard decks and then getting my trucks and then getting the wheels and everything behind that. And that's what I used to spend my money on. And I spent, you know, a lot of my time was literally with my boys. The first kind of wider skateboard was like the Predator back in the day. And then as I kept on elevating to what I wanted to buy and go to the one skate shop in Kalamazoo, Michigan, I would go get the Santa Cruz Slasher, which had some dope ass artwork on it.
Yep.
And the Santa Cruz Slasher was my joint. And I would just like, I think back to build my skateboard back even, and this is like the 80s. It was like $150 like in the 80s.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Skateboard, man.
Yeah.
I used to save my money all summer. My mom would like, it was cool. My mom like really allowed me to like embrace that side of me, which was skate. I mean, I was a soccer player, basketball player, but a big part of me, and I think it's why I live in California, like is skating, and vans and BMX riding and all those things that I did growing up in Michigan. So like, man, I could talk skate stuff all day long. And I talk to my friends like, yo, what type of truck should I be getting now at 45?
Yeah, right.
I love skating. I've had some crazy wipeouts out where I bombed a hill and I did like a judo roll. And I hadn't done martial arts in quite a few years. And I didn't have a helmet on, which was no. Like, I don't ever suggest anyone to do what I did. And my brother was bombing the hill before me. And he had just a basic skate, stiff trucks, smart. And then I had this carve, not a carver, but I had this carve and I was bombing the hill with it. I was doing S-turns and all of a sudden, no joke, there's a dead rabbit a foot away from the curb. Not making this up. And so I shortened the S-turn. And then a car's coming up. So I shortened the S-turn. And so I started going faster. I'm handling, but the trucks didn't like it. And they start just going, wobbling like this. And I'm holding onto this like bobble. And then all of a sudden both trucks go in somehow. It just goes, and I go flying. Like my sister watched at the bottom of the hill. I guess I flew like 15 feet. Did
Wow.
this judo roll, jammed my shoulders, and like took out my brand new jeans, which I was really bummed out about, and then my forearm just like gnarliest road rash. And then it was so bad. It was so bad. And then 2 weeks later, I was competing in France and I was having to pull my wetsuit up over all this road rash. And I was just like, so much pain. And that was the last straw to bombing the hills. I was like, yeah, I'm staying on like that grade now. None of this stuff.
That's
gnarly.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You don't stop. Like you're a thrill seeker, which is dope, but man.
Yeah, I play a fire.
I realized like tight trucks has always been my favorite because I always felt like I was out of control when the trucks were too loose. So tight truck, and now look, all I do is I'm like skating down the boardwalk or skating down a straight flat street or jumping
like
a
a
curb
completely flat. Yeah.
See, I don't jump curbs anymore. Nope.
I wouldn't touch a curb.
There'll be like the curb and then, you know, that little concrete and then the asphalt has just enough lip, just enough.
Yeah, just enough.
Yeah, just catch the wheel and you go flying.
Yard sale.
I'm also the king. I'm also the king of skating so slowly though, where I hit rocks and then like literally
and then like the wheels stop.
It's like that the rock and it's just
and then you stop and then you're going across the intersection, you stop and then thankfully the traffic has stopped and then the people in the car just look at me and laugh as my skateboard goes the other direction.
That's like the trip and fall on nothing when you're walking on a sidewalk and it kills the cool.
Like that little uneven crack on the concrete and you're just like looking up for some reason and walking slow. It's just like wham. Or a pole's in front of you and you're like doing this and somebody
just walk right into
like
it.
I wanted to stop here.
Yeah, no, this is what I was looking for. I was looking for this pole.
Too good. Too good. Awesome. Shit. What else we got, Case?
I don't know. I feel
you've given us so much dope energy and dope vibe and dope time.
Well, thanks, Jeff. It's been fun chatting with you guys.
It's a lot. This has been amazing, and I love how the conversation is just like so rounded and so wide. Like we've covered so many topics. It's fantastic.
You guys chase squirrels with me all evening.
But we're typically we
that's
love
like exactly how we do it.
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Just kind of follow it, you know.
Yeah. We go off on tangents sometimes. We go off on tangents sometimes that are like, yo, how did you get there? But it starts from one point, but then we're like, then it
always comes back around.
Eventually you bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite phrase, Casey's favorite phrase is, hey, side note to the side note. Like,
that's a good one.
Bring this back.
Side note to the side note or sub-reference. Let me sub-reference that.
Nice. Awesome.
This was dope.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Courtney.
It was fun having a chat. Nice to get social during this COVID.
Yeah, right? Any way you can at this point. It just feels good.
For sure. I have some super funny, like, little edits I'm going to do with Surf's Up. I don't want to blow it. Jeff, just stay tuned. And you too, Casey.
All right.
I don't know what I'll do them, but it's going to be classic.
Awesome.
It's that little creative squirrel chasing. I'm going to just turn them into little shorts.
I love it.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah. That's smart. Everybody wants some nice, great short form content too right now.
Well, when I'm not TikToking or surfing or like painting or doing something else, it's like, you know, might as well create a short edit.
Yeah, what the hell? Why not?
You actually are a good dancer, by the way. Your little TikTok video was the day before yesterday, maybe? That was like 3 of you. You did the 3, whatever.
My clones. Imagine 3 of me. Oh my gosh. That's a posse. Except one would be blonde, one would have to be a redhead, and one would have to be brown hair.
Yeah, you got to cover all bases.
Oh yeah, all the bases.
Are those your other personalities? The red and the brown, are those your other personalities? Or like, what is that?
Oh, well, for me, well, technically one should have purple pink hair then. And then one should have, yeah, that full
Total like
fairy dust one.
punk rock.
Yeah, and then it turns into heavy metal. It's like, yeah, let's play that Metallica.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love that.
Iconic.
See, we just came
band.
up with like a whole new TikTok video like series that you can go through. It's
Trust
like
me,
the different
I have
versions.
3 boxes of like costumes upstairs that could definitely be in TikTok videos. And then I have top hats, you know, so I could totally do some Charlie Chaplin silent films.
There you go.
You know, could do some of those. Like the ideas are just endless.
It's endless.
You do a very good job on your Instagram of you let people inside of your world, which is like awesome. And
it's
like
really
it's really No, but that's the thing. Like I think the best Instagram profiles are the ones that people are like letting people in, but they're like, this is actually who you are. Well, and that's what's really, I think, authentic and it's transparent. And when you go on your stories, I just crack up. Like it's a vibe. Straight up vibe. It's
you
so
never
I
know what you're gonna get on my story. It might be a karaoke vibe. It might be like lip sync battles, me spraying boards, painting. You never know. It's usually, and then ends with me laughing somewhere.
Your laugh is like one of the better.
Did you see the one with my mask? Did you see that one where I was doing my?
I gotta look this up now.
Okay, it's still on the TikTok, but it was in my story.
Was that when you did the different voices, the different acting? When I started looking up the
people are like, some people say you should show your emotions, but then I went, and then and I had a face mask the whole time. And then before that, on the story, I put on the movie The Mask. And there's this scene. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put the movie The Mask on YouTube and then just lip sync it. And then, he's like, it's time to party. P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta.
You're badass. Like, that's so, but that's you. That's you. You live life with this. With just this happiness and this level of positivity that is how people need to fucking live life, man. That's how we need to do it.
Yeah, they
do. Yeah, I agree.
I think people just need to I don't know, let their hair down. And, you know, during a tough time like this, like, I get it. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of vulnerability. But the best way to handle it's with humor and levity, even though it might be so challenging and you might just feel so toxic. Sometimes we all get those moments, like we've all been in that place where you just feel toxic and you're like, why do I feel so just like dark? You know, it's like, why? And so if you end up experiencing that, just like write it down on a piece of paper, put it in the fireplace and burn whatever's bugging you.
Yep.
Just do it. Simplify it. Put anything that's bugging you. And then when you do that, you get all those thoughts down as you're writing it. Put that emotion down on that paper and you just burn it and let it go.
Solid advice. I like that.
Yeah. I think
like that a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension, you know, and turmoil right now. And, you know, and not everyone's fortunate having a job. And for a lot of people, it's a great time, you know, to reflect, to reset, and to, you know, find a different way. Maybe there's something else they want to pursue and it's the right time. It's forcing them into a certain direction, you know, and you always have the option, you know, on what you want to do and what you want to become and create. And, you know, sometimes circumstance makes things challenging, but you just take baby steps in the right direction, you know, and I wouldn't be where I was if I didn't believe. And, you know, there's times where I thought about quitting, but I didn't. And, you know, when that word quit is like vinegar in my mouth, you know, and it's like to say that, it's just like, you know, but we all feel that feeling at some point, whether it's major or minor. And, You know, with something like this, I think having levity through a time like this, and, you know, realizing the positives, you know, you're at home, you're in your place, simplify, cleanse, go internal, and it might be scary. You might see stuff you don't want to see. Work through it. You know, don't try to hide it in the closet. Like, get it out, process it, move on, and let it go if it needs to be let go, or embrace it, you know, and come out on the other side at least ready and in a better place mentally, you know, because then you could be able to take on wherever you're at.
I think that's like that's brilliantly put. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is that whole looking inside and being able to process what they're seeing.
Sometimes it's scary. They don't want to see what's inside. And I think, you know, I had certain things and people, certain brands I was with for a while, and I was selling their product and I was doing things for them to be for them and them. And as soon as I like let go and changed my direction and backed myself, and I became me, more of me, yeah, it wasn't easy to do, because I mean, it puts me into a more vulnerable spot. But if you embrace that vulnerability, go, you know what, I'm going to rise to this occasion, I'm going to challenge myself, and I'm going to be the best version of myself, not what someone else wants me to be and not what other people want to see me as. I want to be what I want to be seen as, and be able to look at the mirror and go, damn, I did the best version of me, and now I want to go here.
Yep.
You know, and so I think for anyone right now, it's like, embrace this time and this space where we're doing less, we're traveling less, and we're working virtually and doing things differently. And there's always another side to this, you know, people grow, and I see entrepreneurs thriving in these circumstances. So find a way to thrive, you know, just, I always think gazing, like, everyone gets so closed in sometimes, and it's like, gaze, open your eyes and like see what's going on. Ignore the news. Like, seriously, it's good to, you know, listen to what's going on and understand what's happening around the world. But if you listen to that all day, every day, there's a lot of negativity, and negativity, whether we understand it or not, or believe it's affecting us, even if it's in the background, our subconscious is absorbing that all the time, you know? So it's important to surround yourself with what you want to surround yourself with, you know? And there's a saying, like, the 5 people you surround yourself with are who you emanate and who you end up becoming. And so whoever those people are, well, right now it's just you and whatever influence you're letting in, whether it's social media, whether it's news, whether it's all these things that are happening so fast, and there's so much that's like pressing on us. But you have the capability and you have the control with just the flip of a remote to switch that off and just be you with the silence, with your music, or your peace of mind with the little sage going on, you know, and start like vibing out and just be okay with less and minimal, and be okay with the noise that's in your head and those thoughts. Process it, move on, and write it down and get through it, you know, because then it's just better.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I couldn't agree more.
Hey, hold on. Let me ask. Sorry, because now we're going to keep going. So hold on.
Sorry. I went really deep.
No, that was great.
But I feel like so many people, you know, I get it. It's a scary, fearful time. Like, stocks are down. Everything's like unknown. We've never had a pandemic like this, you know, and we've never had a global shutdown like this in our lifetime, you know, so all this is different. it's uncharted waters. Whether it's sport or life, at the end of the day, it all weaves the same. You take something that you know and you understand, you go, okay, I've been in uncharted waters. Maybe not this scenario, but I've been there. So how can I use this info and utilize it for something this big? That's your first step. So for me, so whatever that familiarity is, use that to help you process and get through this big thing that's up here. That's like a big dark cloud. There's always that silver lining, and the sun's right behind it. Just gotta see it. No, it's there.
Definitely.
You know?
I used to, when it rained, so when we used to be able to hop on planes and fly places. And
what? We could fly?
What's that?
What's that? Wow.
There's these things by the Wright brothers. They created it back in the early 20th century. It's amazing. Fly. They take you all over the place. So I used to tell a friend of mine, I used to be like, and it was actually in a relationship I was in, I was like, hey, you're about to fly. She was going to New York, whatever. And it was cloudy. And I'd give her a big hug. And I was like, yo, you know what the beautiful thing about is flying right now is because the sun is actually always, 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 always out. And once you break through that little cloud and that barrier, as soon as you get up top, I promise you, the sun's going to be there.
And then you feel like Peter Pan above the clouds. You're like, hey,
yeah,
this is so fluffy and bouncy.
Above the clouds, it always is. Who are your heroes? Like, who are your like person? Like when you're like looking at people to be inspired by, whether that's in your immediate family or whether that's outside in the sports world or in the business world or as artists, musicians, whatever. Like, who are like your heroes?
I'm very inspired by my own family. They're amazing. I look up to my brother and sister and strive to be as incredible as them, honestly. And then I love everything Richard Branson does. I think he's incredible. Ellen, just the joy she brings to the world. She's incredible. And if I ever meet her, I'm just giving her the biggest hug. I feel like she's got a good hug. And and then probably Billie Jean King, I looked up to just how she evolved the sport of tennis. Serena Williams, Apollo Ono, the speed skater.
Yeah.
He's incredible. And there's so many influences, honestly, that I draw off of and get inspired through. Even there's this company called Blinking Owl, and there's these, they just think they're classic entrepreneurs, and they find the positive in everything and how to create and to help and to provide. And so they're a distillery company here in Orange County. And when all this happened and everyone was running out of hand sanitizer, they made hand sanitizer called Dirty Bird. Like, boom, just created it. And it's just like the fact of doing, not just talking about it, but just doing and acting on it, you know? And for me, that was just so inspiring. So I got inspired off of that. I'm like, yeah, like, let's just do, you know, and be and create. And so it was pretty incredible. So they're kind of my latest inspiration, just that all happened a few weeks ago, and they've just been doing really well and helping a lot of people. And so
it's amazing. Solution driven. I love entrepreneurs with solution driven.
And I love seeing people like breed creativity out of like tough times. And it historically, there's a lot of creativity that comes out of like really difficult times in this country. So I feel like there's going to be this incredible entrepreneurial and creative wave that's going to come up.
Yeah.
Sort of like calms down.
Well, and for me, it's like, I understand like certain people can't work virtually, but I think for certain individuals, if we're wanting to be more economical, trying to create through this learning experience, how we can have less people have to drive to work every single day of the week, you know, just something like that. That's a small adjustment that I think everyone's discovering. We're having to be inventive and innovative right now, and I think it could be positive in the workforce, so
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
That's great.
I
feel like we've nailed everything that we wanted to nail.
Sure. Should we talk about ice cream, like our favorite flavors?
I'd love to talk about ice cream.
My sweet tooth is banana, so absolutely.
You love
Wait, banana ice cream?
Sweet tooth is bananas, meaning the phrase like my sweet tooth is crazy. Sorry,
okay.
I know.
Okay.
My sweet tooth is
I thought you meant banana ice cream.
No, I never even had banana ice cream.
Yeah, there is a lot of banana ice cream. I actually work with Snow Monkey and their ice cream, so they're pretty bomb. And it's all banana based, totally dairy free, pretty good.
Oh wow!
Really?
But, so let's go top two ice cream. Desert Island top 2 ice creams.
Coffee, end it there.
That's it. That's all I need.
Boom, done. Drop mic now.
Yeah,
love that.
Actually, I like taro ice cream too. Taro's a really good flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, taro's really good. And then, yeah. And then I have like a crazy savory tooth. I love chips and salsa. Like, you give me a bag of chips, it's like KO. More than a sweet tooth, Jeff. Like, if you put a bag of chips, I have to like push the bag away from you, or else I finish it. It's like, out of my face. Get that corn out of my face.
That's interesting.
What about you?
Yeah, what's your
about
flavor?
you? What's your ice cream top 2?
If top 2? I can't believe it's not even fair. It's like asking like who's your favorite child if you have a family of 10.
It's like saying right.
So I say that and I'll limit. All right, I'm just gonna go basic. I'm gonna go chocolate, and then I'm gonna go cookie dough. And because I'm not stopping at 2, I'm gonna go mint chocolate chip, and then I'm gonna go.
I love mint chip. It's so good.
Yeah, man, like it's mint refreshing chip. Up on another level. And then. So I've gotten into Salt and Straw is around the corner from us here where I live.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, they have a whole level of ice creams that I never knew existed that I would even like. Like they have the over Thanksgiving time, they have like a flavor like that's like Thanksgiving. Like it's literally like tastes like Thanksgiving.
Like,
and it's
I don't get that. I don't understand how any of that stuff exists.
Yeah, what would it taste like? Turkey?
Like turkey and gravy ice cream.
Oh.
It's all the best parts of Thanksgiving.
Or pumpkin.
It's the best thing ever. But then I mean, if I'm gonna really break it down, like I would have to like it would always be chocolate. But cookie dough's my shit. I'll eat cookie, but I love cookies. But my favorite thing to just like randomly go get from a sweet tooth standpoint is peanut butter. I fucking love peanut butter.
I love peanut butter, but that's more savory sweet. That's more savory, I feel like.
I kind of think
I would eat like a spoonful of peanut butter. It was so funny. I one time had a spoonful of peanut butter after surfing for like 3 hours. And then I went to get my blood drawn because they were doing my blood test for food to see what my allergies were, and they could see all the fats being like processed through my blood cells. And she's like, you have one of your peanut butter scoops again? I'm like, yeah.
Maybe.
I'm like, maybe, no, yes.
Does that thing tell you that?
Yeah, you can like see the little guys just partying around my little cells. It was so funny. On the little
I eat
microscope.
peanut butter. I'm like you. I eat peanut butter.
I love peanut butter. Almond butter's bomb. Peanut butter on celery stick. Oh.
I was just gonna say I'm a sucker for the celery stick peanut butter combo. That's hands
or
down
peanut
the best.
butter and you put a little like raw honey on it.
Oh, that's a good move. You do that with toast, like toast and then peanut butter on it with honey on it. Oh, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
Peanut butter on anything is delicious. I love peanut butter. When I was a kid, little girls.
Go ahead.
Did I tell you this? I'm sorry.
Don't wait. Does this involve a dog and peanut butter? I don't want to hear that story.
No.
He's like, no, it's mine.
So I love peanut butter so much. I used to put peanut butter always on Ritz crackers. That was my thing, like crackers. When I was in 4th grade, I literally ate 2 boxes of Ritz crackers. My mom had no idea. 2 boxes of Ritz crackers. I was putting peanut butter on each one. I was constipated for like 3 weeks. 4th grade, man.
Like your whole stomach was peanut butter.
Yeah,
gone.
Peanut butter
it's gone.
Ritz crackers.
I was jammed up. That's when the world hit.
They're like,
Have you ever
"Give the guy some laughs."
have you ever done peanut butter on a burger?
No, I have
No.
not actually.
If you want to
Huh.
blow your own mind on something, peanut butter on a burger. You do like you toast the bun, put a little peanut butter on there,
Wow.
patty on there. You can even throw cheese on there and then do whatever else you normally do. But I'm telling you, it's game changer.
I'm going to have
Peanut
to
butter.
try that.
Yep.
I have to try
I
that.
had a
On
there
like
was
a little slider.
yeah, do like a little slider. There was this spot. Oh God, I can't
Imagine
remember.
if you did. Oh my gosh! Imagine if you had a beef burger with a little like honey soy flavor or a honey flavor with peanut butter.
Woo.
There you go.
Why isn't
So
that
you have
creative?
that sweet and salty, and then
Yep.
you can even put bacon on there if you want to.
And
Like,
then yeah, and then if you really want to take it up a notch, like there was a place, and I can't remember, somewhere in Hollywood, I can't remember what it was, but they used to do a PB&J burger, and it was
Whoa.
like, so they would do peanut butter burger. I think they had some kind of like chipotle spice sauce, and then
Yeah.
jelly, and then a bun,
kinda
and
like-
it was
That's kind of like a Monte Cristo burger version.
yeah.
That's pretty rad.
That's a
Yeah,
question
mine
for
those are
you.
bomb.
Is a Monte Cristo a sandwich or a dessert? Let's like settle this
Sandwich.
because I feel like it's
Sandwich.
a dessert.
Sandwich. Really?
Sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
But
It's
got
like
powdered sugar on it.
Fried chicken and waffles. Is that a dessert or is that food?
Yeah, I don't know.
Roscoe's. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that is
it's
like
good.
that is like a treat.
It's a
I haven't been
classic.
there in ages, but so good.
That is
Open up a new
classic.
one. They've opened up a bigger. Well, it's not open right
Well,
now.
it's
but,
not open. It's been trying to open.
Yeah, La Brea, on La Brea, about a mile down from the original one.
Yeah,
They have one on La Brea. Is that La Brea an Olympic? No,
I think
La
it's.
Brea
I think it's Pico.
That's Pico.
Huh.
La Brea
Yeah.
and Pico. It's a bigger space, but
It's huge.
hey, when this thing's over,
Chaos.
Chicken and waffles.
yo,
Everyone.
you're coming
Hey,
up.
that's, you know what? That's a real question. Let's do that. Post COVID, the second the quarantine is up and you can do whatever, like let's say they end it and you can go do whatever. What's your first go-to like restaurant spot or like food spot that you're like, I'm going there first thing?
Din Tai Fung. Getting dumplings
Oh,
for sure. Some dumplings. That sounds so good. And then, gosh, I need to go to Hobby Lobby so bad to get finish a DIY, and it's closed right now. And
you're
it's
like,
so
it's killing
it's
me
so
that I
funny.
can't go to
It's like-
Hobby Lobby.
It's my pajama drawer, so I have to like put a piece of my book in there to like open it because it's just so flush. So I had to like put the book in the crack and like fold the paper and pull it. I can't wait till I can
Hobby
get those knobs.
Lobby.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you with that. Casey, what's yours? You didn't say your ice cream either, Casey.
Oh, ice cream is, I'm on a similar path. You give me cookies and cream all day on
Oh,
anything. I'll lick cookies and cream up off the floor right now. I don't care. There's no 5-second rule with cookies and cream. And then mint chocolate chip is the other one for me. Those two, I'm done. I don't need anything else in
Mint
life.
chip's really good. Yeah, mint
Yep.
chip's
So
good.
Casey,
Yeah.
Restaurant is tough, man.
There's so many options, man.
Like I want to say it'd be something like one of the hot chicken places, like the Nashville hot chicken joints that are up here now. There's like 3 or 4 of them up here that are just all amazing. And you can't like order hot chicken and get them delivered because
No,
it's, like
it's
it's
not
not
hot.
yeah,
It's
it's
soggy.
not, it's soggy and like not crispy anymore. So
Yeah.
it's just not the
Yeah,
thing.
the skin's like all like, ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
it like
gross.
soaks into a bun too.
Yeah.
It's just like it's bad news.
Yeah, it's
But-
like on the Texas toast probably or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Oof.
It'd probably be one of those, I think. I mean, unless I think of something else. I eat everything, so it doesn't matter. I don't know.
Have you ever had a roasted chicken? It's
No.
like
No.
baked and roasted. It is so bomb. It's like fried chicken, but not as oily and greasy, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
super crispy. But yeah,
Really?
roasted chicken. So
All right,
bomb.
I'm gonna have to try that out. Oh, you know what
Roasted
the other? I
Yep.
just thought of another thing. Roasted chicken. I'm gonna have to try. The other thing for me is seafood too. Like
Oh, yeah.
any good seafood place. So like I love going up to Malibu and hitting up like the Malibu
Sushi.
Fish Market
Yeah, sushi's another one
Sushi,
that's
yeah.
just like, oh.
because none of that stuff
Yeah.
travels well. What about you, Jeff?
Man, all right. So I was going to go off a tangent on tuna. So one of my boys, Brock, shout out to Brock. Brock goes deep sea fishing, and he was out south of San Diego back in November, and he vacuum sealed up fresh tuna that he caught off his trip. He gave me 10 pounds of it pre-quarantine. I'm now down to my last tuna. I make ahi tuna, like I make a delicious ahi tuna with the right spices. And then yesterday I had fish tacos that are ahi tuna fish tacos with avocado, cilantro, and vibed out on just that. And I kept one half piece left of tuna. I have another pound, 1/2 piece left of tuna that I'm going to, after we're done with this, I'm going to make ahi fish tacos again. I love sushi. I love fish. My favorite is probably salmon. I eat salmon all the time. But man,
salmon's so good.
Yeah.
I have such a good recipe that I kind of just created in my head randomly one night, where I did chili garlic sauce, a little bit of soy, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, some garlic and lemon and ginger.
Oh wow.
It was bomb. Yeah, so I mixed it up, and then I kind of basted it onto the salmon.
Yeah.
And then had that, and then as the salmon's cooking, I had basting extra.
Yeah.
Just to keep it tender and soft. It was so good.
Did you do it in like a frying pan?
Yeah, frying pan, and the skin was super crispy and crunchy at the end. And I had little pieces of ginger that had just crisped up, so I just put it on the top. I was just yep. Just boop. Oh yeah, so good.
I love that.
So I don't know what restaurant I'm gonna go to, but I don't know what restaurant I'll go to, but I'm gonna tell you guys this. What I found out about myself over quarantine is that, one, I always knew I was a pretty decent cook. I can survive for myself. I'm a grown ass man, so hopefully I can by now. I can make some pretty good meals for myself. But I did not understand the levels of the baked potato, just potatoes in general, until
how many
quarantine.
things you could do.
Yeah.
You can do so much with a potato.
I know. Mashed potato, baked potato, potato wedges, fried potatoes, potato
unreal.
Breakfast with bell peppers, salt, pepper,
It's amazing. I make these great potato chips.
Hash browns.
Hash browns, chips. Speaking of that, Jeff, I've been telling you, you gotta invest in an air fryer.
I have one.
It's the greatest thing ever.
My parents use them all the time.
They're money, and you can reheat stuff, and it'll reheat it like that, and it's crispy.
So cool.
But you can make fries, and they're not in oil or in any kind of
they're
bad
healthy
shit.
For you. It's just like having a frying pan cook your potato, pretty much.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I do chicken wings in our air fryer, and they're just as good as you're gonna get from anywhere else.
Yeah.
I'm a chicken wing snob, so.
Buffalo wings are so good.
Yeah, it's my jam.
All day long.
That with some ranch dressing. Oh.
Yeah, all day. Now I'm just hungry. Now I'm
now we're all
I'm literally looking to my left because I'm looking at my kitchen, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go make something.
Yeah, we're gonna make some food.
I'm making some yummy stuff after this.
That's right.
It'll be so good. Shit. This has been the greatest evening.
Yeah, this has been a terrific time. Just talking and chatting.
Epic meeting you, Casey. And
cheers to you. It's really cool. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us, and it's awesome to meet you finally.
Great to meet you as well, and we'll have to do this again after all the COVID stuff.
Yeah, let's definitely do that.
In the water
in person and hang out.
we need to do a live on site at the beach surf
with
show.
GoPro.
Yeah, exactly, with a GoPro.
Yeah,
they don't
in the water
They don't zoom as far. I'm gonna be at the beginning of the beach.
They don't zoom on the pylon. He's like,
you're no,
operate fish.
What we do is we can get Jeff on a jet ski, and he can just be out in the water.
I love the water. I grew up on the water. I just don't think I can surf. I grew up water skiing because I grew up in Michigan. It's Great Lakes State. We have lakes everywhere. We had a cottage. We had a boat. I did all that stuff. but I just don't like the problem is my hip flexors. So what I need to start doing right now is actually stretching consistently.
Lunges.
Because
Yeah.
my problem, I think, is going to be the pop-up. That's going to be my problem. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'5". I don't still pop up. It takes me forever to get. So I just need to practice that and get to that position.
You just gotta start flossing too. Get the hip moving side to side to side to side.
That's really what I need to work on too, is flossing. That's what I need to work on.
Start doing those start prancercising too. I don't know if you've seen that on YouTube. It's so funny. Have you ever checked
I haven't
that
seen
out?
that.
Okay, YouTube prancercising.
I'm doing it right now.
Prancercising. Never seen that or heard of that ever.
It's pretty funny. 2020 prancercise.
So 2021, I'm surfing. I'm going to try to surf in 2021. I got time to get more flexible.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's do it.
You got it.
Yeah, because you got to get your Achilles back right, Casey.
Yeah, I mean, I figure that's a good time. 2021 will be my surf year.
You'll be ready for sure.
Hey, appreciate you, Court.
Yeah, thank you, Courtney.
You guys too. Thanks so much. Have a nice rest of your evening too.
You too.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
For all your
All right, see ya. Bye.